Does this sound familiar? You find yourself with the urge to watch YouTube. Maybe you're sitting down for lunch or dropping that lunch off at the pool. So you fire up YouTube, scroll for a bit to see what is serving you today, and there it is. The next video you feel the urge to watch that's going to help you learn and become a better rider. It's a common habit and something we're doing more and more, but while we as riders are watching more helpful content than ever, the development and standard of riding isn't improving anywhere close to the volume of content being consumed. And we're going to explore why that is and whether YouTube content itself can actually help you develop as a rider, if that is your goal. Now, this habit of watching all the content you can to improve isn't exactly new. When I started riding 17 years ago, books and the odd DVD were the only decent options back then, and I'd pick up any I could to help me learn and grow as a track rider, which was my main focus at the time. But there's 3 core problems with this consumption. 2 of them have always been a thing, but the first one I want to talk about is a more recent one, and it comes from how content is served to us and how it's engineered. Whether we realize it or not, we're losing more and more control over our consumption habits, and it all comes from how the YouTube game is played. The job of YouTubers is to get views and watch time, at least in the eyes of YouTube itself. And when we can do those things, YouTube rewards us with more of it, bringing more people to us to help us grow. This means that the best content is highly engineered to grab your attention, get your click, and keep you watching before moving on to the next video and then the next. And this rule set and reward system subconsciously nudges creators to make content that's more intriguing, clickbaity, and retention focused. And while the creator might have intentions of creating something genuinely helpful, first and foremost, it's designed to be consumed. And honestly, saying this out loud creates real conflict for me because on the one hand, I want to grow my channel, but on the other, I want you to improve as a rider. But the way I win is to get people to keep watching content, which, as we'll discover, makes it harder for you to actually improve. And yes, you could just say, well, just make simple content that doesn't do any of that stuff and just give maximum value. But the basic educational content doesn't really stand out anymore, so it's difficult to blame YouTubers here. That is, the ones that actually want to help riders anyway. So where 17 years ago I would just pick up a book and read, with the way the YouTube platform is now, you end up watching far more content than you ever truly intended to. And when left unchecked, it can actually have a negative impact on your ability to learn and improve. Bringing us to the second problem, and one that only gets worse with the consumption habits we have today, and that's the passive learning trap. And this is something that's talked about a lot in the self-help world, and how passively and unintentionally consuming educational content can actually make it harder to improve in something. Because by gaining insights without paying any real cost, your brain gets the dopamine of progress without putting in any actual hard work and effort to improve a skill. And this makes it cognitively harder to do what you need to do and actually improve. So basically, watching content in this way makes us feel like we're getting something to move closer to our goal, giving us the sense of progress, but we're not actually paying any real cost to get that feeling. This means that when you do start paying the costs, which is the hard work of actually getting out there and consciously practicing a riding skill, you realize, oh, this is much harder than I thought, and at this point many will just give up. And this can likely lead you to consuming more and more content in an attempt to get around your problems and improve the easy way, leading us nicely onto the third and final problem, which comes from the sheer volume of content we're now consuming. There have been numerous studies that show that consuming too much content can have a negative impact on learning and progress because it creates cognitive overload, information overwhelm, distraction, and confusion. But honestly, I don't really need these studies to tell me this because I went through it all myself. After picking up all those books and DVDs and consuming everything I could, slowly building the expectation that I would be an elite level rider in no time, I was surprised and very humbled to find that I didn't really progress much at all after all that study. And the problem wasn't that I didn't know enough, it's that I knew too much, and even though my head was filled with the knowledge and all the right things I should be doing, I actually found it very difficult to focus and do any of it. Not to mention the confusion and overwhelm that comes when you inevitably find conflicting advice, which is very easy to do when you're trying to consume all the content. So with all of that said, it begs the question, is YouTube writing content actually helpful at all? Well, yes, it can be. To draw from the self-help world again, studies have shown that content on YouTube from the right sources is seen as just as effective as academic work. And I see the proof in my own world too, where I've had hundreds of emails over the years from writers thanking me for how my content has helped them. But equally, there'll be many writers out there that have consumed thousands of hours of content without making any significant improvement in their writing. So what really makes the difference? Well, it all comes from being able to separate improvement from entertainment. That is, intentionally watching content with the view of learning and implementing something new versus passively watching whatever the algorithm throws up while thinking that it's going to magically translate into a higher level of writing skill. And this means not only being intentional with what you watch, but also what you do after you watch it. Receiving knowledge is only the first step to learning. After that, it's about creating a plan to improve, consciously practicing that thing, and then being mindful enough to receive the feedback from that practice time. And that's where learning really happens. It happens after you take action, where you either improve your skill or you learn how not to do something and you adjust your approach from there. And it's that intentionality that I've seen make the difference time and time again over the years, not just in my own writing, but in the writers who come through my track writer training program too. Because the truth is, the person that watches one video and actually implements it is likely to make more progress than someone that watches 100 of them and doesn't consciously do anything with it. And taking this approach is only going to improve your motivation and your feeling around your progress too, because you can see real, tangible results from your practice time, and that in itself is going to give you a much bigger boost than the short-lived dopamine hit of watching yet another writer improvement video. And going back to the previous problem of passive consumption, because you're getting out there and taking meaningful action, you're learning to appreciate the cost and hard work it takes to actually improve a skill, which is just going to make keeping up with that approach and making continued progress much easier. And as I talk about this, it makes me think of the countless comments I've seen over the years from people saying something to the effect of, "You can't learn writing from a video," where they've seen my stuff in their social feed and they get offended that I'm teaching writing online. But the funny thing is, they're right to a degree. You can't just learn writing from a video. However, good instruction, whether that's from a well-made video or sitting in a writing school classroom, couple it with an effective plan to practice what you're learning, and that is how you improve. Again, it's what you do with the knowledge you've gained, not simply knowing it, that makes the difference. Now, I know that I'm making all of this sound very easy. Only intentionally learn what you need to, consistently take action. It's definitely simple, but it's not always easy. Because when you really want to improve as a writer and you're struggling, it's very easy to go down that consumption rabbit hole and try to shortcut things, especially with YouTube and how the algorithm is working against you these days. So if you do have these habits and you find it difficult to stop, I get it. And also, if you aren't that bothered about improvement and you just find educational content interesting, that's fine too. What I'm talking about here is for writers that do have a higher level of writing they're really trying to get to. So with that in mind, if you are a track writer specifically that is trying to improve and you want to take this approach a step further to see real progress on track, we're actually running a free 4-day online workshop that helps you do exactly that. Over the 4 days, you'll learn how the best writers consistently make progress by finding your weaknesses, creating plans to tackle them, and then how to actually get out there and practice in the right way to make real progress. To join us and find out more information about it, there's a link down in the description and in the top pinned comment. We've run this before and writers absolutely loved it, so I'm excited for you to experience it too. Outside of that, thank you so much for joining me for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.